as we get into October here, well into October, I'd say, I just have a statement to make.
Halfway through.
Wow.
Hell out of here with scary movies. That's my take.
Okay, we're not even at Halloween yet. Okay.
But it's still spooky season. My wife tried to put on a scary movie the other day. Not for me. The
I don't understand
the Tony game,
concept.
not for me.
I really don't understand the concept of just putting yourself in a position where you're frightened, which is not a feeling you want to feel.
Exactly.
And further, potentially making your dreams terrible. Like you're making your sleep less comforting because you've now put this scary figure into your brain. It happened to me when I was a kid watching Nightmare on Elm Street, and I hated scary movies ever since because I would have nightmares. I still have one that I can still remember, a dream very detailed, and it's all because of a movie. What's the point?
With all of the stuff grabbing for our attention, right? Our phones, which are on 1,000 hours a day, with sports, with this, with that. The last thing I want to do is give an hour and a half to 2 hours to a movie that usually isn't good, right? Like, I maybe I'm alone on this. I have somebody that's peering over my shoulder that I feel has a different opinion, and we'll introduce him in a second.
I wonder who it is.
But for
Could be
me,
talking
like,
about anybody.
and I know he's a big scary movie fan, but for me,
That guy.
who just spoke. So
I'm just here to be a more polarizing Mike than Fuentes. Just
Mike,
to help him
good
out because
luck.
I've seen the internet discourse and it's made me unhappy.
Really? What does it say? The internet.
Fuentes is quite a controversial dude.
Wow. Because he likes
Crazy.
Burger King chicken sandwiches? What's wrong with
I think
it?
it was the dancing he did the other day.
oh,
You-
No, they
you-
terrible Mets kept those one.
Yeah, you would think it would be him throwing ass at the Savannah Bananas game, but no, it wasn't that.
Throwing ass.
He was totally throwing ass.
Ass was being thrown.
That's what that was. That
So
was a
that's
dude
not-
that had practiced that.
Wow.
That's not a euphemism for farting. That's
No,
a
he was
euphemism
throwing
for dancing.
He was throwing his little ass around. Actually, not little.
It's not really.
Junk in the trunk.
No, it's not a big ass. It's just kind of wide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got Latino hips, brother.
Yeah, that's true.
If you were a woman, you'd pump out 6 kids easy.
By that time, I'm 22.
Yeah.
That's not
scary
about
movies
scary
aren't
movies.
good. Long
Yeah.
story short, scary movies.
I like scary movies.
There's
They're
nothing
all right.
for me.
I'm
They're
not
not good.
I'm not one of those weirdos that feels very strongly about scary movies. I'd like to watch the occasional scary movie. I think there are some very good ones. I think there's some bad ones, but no, I don't have really strong convictions when it comes to scary movies.
I'm of the opinion that the original reason for scary movies being successful is on dates so your date can jump into your arms. I think that's the main.
That's the Thriller music video.
Horniness is the main
Thriller, yeah.
reason for scary movie success.
The
That's
date
like the-
feeling protected.
Yeah. It's a jump scare culture.
you go.
That's why the
It's-
jump scare movie exists, right?
I'm glad you guys referenced Thriller because that's definitely my time. I appreciate that.
Welcome to Mystery Crate.
That was it. That was the whole thing on scary movies.
I was waiting for him
Cool.
to do it.
That was what you had on scary movies? I don't.
Chris.
What? I
said he was
gave my
out.
take on
Gave
scary
us-
movies.
Not for me. Okay.
I like scary movies. They're like different from what I usually watch.
Is this show always this bad?
Hey. Lad,
No,
welcome to Mystery
I
Crate,
think-
Mike.
I think Mike brought up the best point, though. People that are super into scary movies, huge red flag. Me and you aren't going to be close friends. If you're super into scary movies, you're not.
I
Kat.
get that. I don't feel the same way, but I understand your perspective.
But here's my whole theory on it. It's like the last scary movie that I liked and I was sort of forced to watch. I think it was called The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Actually a good one, though. Actually, a
It
good
was.
One.
I mean, to me, it was a good one. One of the very few good ones. But it was one of those where it's like it's more believable. So I'm like, okay, I can buy into this. But the thing is, it's like there was a time on the clock. I forget what it was, but they called it some very specific time, and it was like some evil time where I don't know, terrible things happen and ghosts come into your life. Every time I'm up in the morning and I see that time, or I saw that time at the time, I thought of that scary movie and I couldn't get back to sleep. And I'm like, why did I watch that damn movie? It's affecting me for the rest of my life.
The Witching Hour.
What was the movie?
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the theaters. Mm-hmm. Really, when you watch White Chicks, you can't get it out of your mind. That's a chick from Emily Rose. Why is she having such a fun time? Isn't she the devil?
Yeah, but there are some people that they're out on scary movies that specifically deal with demonic and like religious themes. They don't like the whole demon devil thing.
I get that. That's usually what hits home with me and what connects more. Maybe it's because I was raised very Christian, always going to
possession
church.
element?
Yeah, I find that stuff maybe a little bit more rooted in realism. I can hear people rolling their eyes, but that kind of stuff always gets me more. Maybe it was when I was little, I saw The Exorcist, and that just really horrified me.
When you can hear her rolling her eyes in that movie?
Yeah,
Very scary.
that
I've never
stuff
seen
always
it.
really.
Never seen it.
Tony has a backlog of classic movies he hasn't seen.
Yeah, but there's some I'm good on. Like Exorcist, like there's no reason for me to ever
No,
watch
that
I think you
one's
kind of need to see The Exorcist
Yes.
because it's often invoked as
Yeah.
one of the greatest, if not the greatest, horror movies of all time.
And it holds up.
It does kind of. I saw it again not too long ago, and I still kind of got transported. To me, my favorite scary movie is also kind of dealing with that stuff a little bit. Is Hereditary. That movie is just
Never heard of it.
horrifying.
So Tony, you hear the phrase "the power of Christ compels you," and you think nothing.
No, I get the reference points. Like I've heard of
scary movie.
Scary movie, right? Because most I've seen of The Exorcist is from Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
But like the cultural zeitgeist of The Exorcist, like I understand it. I just, it's for somebody else.
Split pea soup, is that reference to make
Mike
do
said it
anything for
earlier
you?
this week on the show, and I'm guessing that's when she vomits. The vomit is split pea soup, and like
Yeah, and then she was crawling up on the walls, and then when her head turns like a full 360,
360, right.
like it's super creepy.
Coming
I gotta
down
watch
the
it.
coming down the stairs, bent over like a backwards spider.
Yeah, dude.
that
no, I mean,
got
you
me.
know,
I'd say
that's great.
If you haven't seen the
People-
movie, you're like, hey,
Dude, the
Spoiler
crucifix scene,
alerts, man.
that is intense.
I've heard that too.
That
It's
is
like,
Not a fan.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I went to the not those stairs that she came down backwards crawling like a spider, but I went to the Exorcist stairs in the movie. There's a very famous scene with stairs. It's not the one that we're talking about. I went to those stairs when I was visiting the Washington D.C. area because I am a fan
night?
of that movie. Yeah, I went to it. It's a little eerie.
A little creepy.
It's a little eerie.
Oh, the
You
one
can
from the
see-
poster.
Yeah, you can see how someone falls down that. No, the poster. He's standing outside the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
The stairs are like to a back alley almost, right?
Yeah, they're very long. The movie doesn't really do it justice, and they look pretty long there. But got tired doing that. I think Hereditary probably stays with you.
What's the premise of that movie?
The premise of that movie is there is some possession elements. There's more to it than just that. The idea of evil staying within the family, reincarnation is also a general theme in it. There's your classic jump scares, occult stuff. Like it's got a lot going on. There are shocking visuals, incredible facials by one of my favorite actors on the planet, Toni Collette. I think she's incredibly talented. Everything that she does, she goes all in on, and she has quite a range. And in Hereditary, her facials, they stay with you. Towards the film's final act, she knocks it out of the park.
oh, she is a good actress. I didn't know her by name, but I've recognized her.
Starting with like Muriel's Wedding back in the
Yeah.
day, she's had a hell of a run.
My second theory on horror movies outside of horniness leading to their success is the idea that believing in the other side, right? Believing in ghosts, believing in, maybe, your
supernatural.
grandparents or your great grandmother is out there somewhere and watching over you. And I think you convince yourself more of that from scary movies, probably more than church. Am I right?
Roy?
Probably, yeah. You got like a guardian angel type situation going on there.
But that's always nice. You don't really remember the nice stuff. You remember the terrible stuff, the horrible stuff. That's why the scary movies resonate so much more than somebody telling you, like, hey, you got a guardian angel. And you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, whatever.
I remember Angels in the Outfield.
I'm a ghost.
There's Happy Ghost.
Casper.
Whatever happened to ghouls and goblins and that sort? Do we still do that or no?
I think what separates The Exorcist and Hereditary apart is they were made by really good filmmakers.
William Friedkin.
Yeah, Billy Friedkin, who's no longer here with us, so people are coming out of the woodwork to share their experiences with him.
Hurricane Billy.
Controversial filmmaker, but Ari Aster is an incredible filmmaker. He has another kind of scary movie with Midsommar, another psychological type of thriller.
Midsommar.
Yeah, Midsommar. Midsommar?
We're in the middle of summer.
Somar.
Midsommar?
Midsommar.
That's another movie that kind of stays with you. I think Ari Aster's a genius. His most recent film, Beau is Afraid, is not really in that kind of realm. He's just showing you how capable he is of a filmmaker. I'm a big fan of his.
I can't believe people didn't know something was up when Christopher Lloyd was playing hacky sack with the baseball in the outfield.
Yeah.
In the outfield.
Yeah.
And the ball's like bouncing up and down. Like I feel like if that just was randomly happening,
Yeah,
people would
something's
be
up
like,
there,
something's
yeah.
going on out there.
That movie, low key, a lot of really popular actors like McConaughey plays a center fielder.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Adrian Brody's in that.
Yeah, Adrian Brody too. Is
A lot
that?
of Academy Award-winning actors in that film.
Never seen it. Like
Joseph-
remember
Never
the
seen
Titans,
Angels in
just
the
like
Outfield?
remember the Titans. Yeah, exactly.
I've always wanted to be the guy that like gets paid to take kids to the like the guy, that nerd guy with like the glasses that like took. He was like the assistant to like the owner. That
You just want to
had
be an
like,
assistant?
I just want to be like a guy that's like, yeah, I'm watching the owner's kids at this Marlins game. That's my job.
all
My
I
whole
remember-
life is bringing the owner's kids to the Marlins.
So you want to be David Hampson?
All I remember about that movie is the assistant guy getting covered in like ketchup and mustard and stuff when he drops all the food on him.
The spread. I remember the spreads look so good, like the post game spreads.
Is there a hand gesture that is better than the angel? Like when everything stops, and then you see that one, like the mom, right? It's the mom, or
No, it's a kid.
The kid.
The kid did it.
kid does
Jason
that
Gordon-Levitt comes out and starts doing it, so everybody can believe there's.
Thought it was
yeah,
Joseph.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's Joseph.
Yeah,
Gordon-Levitt.
Jesse. Yeah, what did I call him?
Jason.
Close enough.
You got horror
Jason,
movies on the
where
mind.
are you?
Yeah. Tony Danza.
Good in Looper.
Tony Danza, that's right.
Yeah, he
One of their
plays
starters.
the
Danny
washed-up
Glover.
pitcher.
Yeah, when you go through the cast, it's kind of crazy that
is
Tony
crazy.
Danza
Wait, you were that impressed by
gets
Tony
top billing in
Danza?
this.
I'm just saying.
I mean, he was the starter.
He's the
Fourth
boss.
starter. He's like their fourth starter.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
He's the veteran pitcher that finds a way at the end.
That was a golden era of baseball movies. You had that, Rookie of the Year, Sandlot,
The
Little
Rookie.
Big League, all being released within just a short amount of time of
Little
one
Big
another.
League. Love that one.
That was a good one.
Little Big League, a little underrated, honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't see that. What is that one
That's
again?
the one where the kid manages the twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His-
I mean,
No,
generally-
he inherited the
Inherits
team,
it, yeah.
and then he became
Names
the
himself
manager.
manager.
Named
I've been out there
himself.
with a public stance that I don't like it in movies or television when little
Kids
kids
solving
tackle adult problems. The only time that I like it is in baseball movies.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You're like if you want to set up a suicide squeeze, go for it. Let's see what you draw up here, Skip.
Trying to get a baseball from a big dog. Yeah.
I get none of these references. I watched Major League and Major League 2.
You've watched
Oh, well, you're more of an
Watch
adult.
Rookie of the Year and Sandlot.
You
Come
watched-
on.
I watched Sandlot one time. I believe I was in my 30s because I didn't watch it like when I was younger, and I don't remember much of it other than the lines that everybody says.
Eight Men Out. You saw that one.
Killing
Even
Me
now, I
Smalls.
definitely
I was going to say,
Yeah.
what was the last good one? Was it Moneyball?
Moneyball?
One of the last good baseball. movie,
Moneyball
yeah.
to me is probably the best baseball movie ever made.
Relax.
I don't know what it is about it. I just
Hardball.
really
You've
Never
like it.
seen
Wasn't
Brewster's
really a
Millions.
Hardball.
Oh, I see that.
that
Well,
a baseball
only
movie?
part baseball movie.
Is that the one with
Millions is
Keanu?
great. I love Brewster's.
Yeah.
Hardball, yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one. I'm a big Keanu
There's this
guy.
guy that
was gonna be rated
There's
R,
this guy
by
at
the way.
bowling.
Somehow
This
that
guy at
wasn't.
bowl with, and not with him, but in the league, and he always has these big headphones on, and I always think about the pitcher from Hardball. That
Hey, oh, yeah.
Waves his arms.
So
in
is
the air.
he?
Michael B. Jordan's in
getting
that
ready
movie.
for the game or for the match or what do you guys call bowling? Frames.
games.
Games. Okay.
Yeah, but they're each one is a frame.
But like he's getting ready, like psyched
no,
up.
he just
music.
bowls with headphones the whole time.
You know
Like,
who directed Rookie of the Year?
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern, one of the stars of the movie.
Yeah.
He was the pitching coach, one of the
Oh, that guy
sticky
directed it?
/wet bandits. Yeah, he was in it and directed it.
guy that got stuck in the.
Was that
closet.
the only one? That was the only movie he directed, right?
It wasn't the closet. It was between the two doors.
I'm not sure. He did a good job.
He
with
did an
it,
excellent
too.
job in that movie.
Little help here. Little help now. Henry.
Why do you know these things, Roy?
I pay attention.
That's also a movie that we wore out as kids.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I had that VHS. How many times did you watch Rookie of the Year and The Sandlot and all those? Like
Oh.
it was routine summer vacation watching.
Hey, Billy.
You know, the one that I watched a lot of was Rocket Man with Harlan Williams.
Oh my God.
Harlan's
Dude,
awesome,
for real?
Great movie.
I just remember the
Great.
scene
Not a
where he's
baseball
like,
movie, but-
he gets like, he's like attached to something and he gets sent through. All of a sudden, he's going through a hallway and he like passes this like nun and he's like, go, let's go.
I think he was doing like the gravitron thing, like the
Yes.
zero gravity thing, and he was going wrong. And his spoiler alert, his seat became detached from the
Yes.
machine, and then he
Same
launched on
He
a
passes by a nun. He's like, father's life.
yeah, it's such a good
I'm
movie.
looking up Rocket Man, and all I'm seeing is the Elton John biopic.
No, that's
No,
the
no,
worst.
that's
That's
the one
understandable.
before that one, yeah.
That's
Rocket Man.
understandable
Keep
why that's
scrolling, keep
the only thing that's
scrolling,
coming up.
1997.
I just remember the bad guy from Die Hard 2 was in that movie. That's all I remember.
Izzy, what movie
You
did you
remember
wear
the
out?
bad guy from Die Hard
Who's the
2?
bad
Yeah.
guy from Die Hard 2?
I think that was the
Bad-
more telling thing.
The bad guy from Die Hard 2 was William Sadler, who was also in the Shawshank Redemption. He was the guy that liked the country music.
Judges. All right, checks out.
I'm not going to challenge Roy.
Yeah.
Roy, I told you, Roy's my first round draft pick when it comes to trivia night. Izzy, what movie did you wear out when you were a kid?
I mean, does it have to be a sports movie?
No,
And
it
how
could
young
be
do I
anything.
have to be? Because I don't remember like wearing out a movie when I was younger. I remember Friday Night Lights, the movie, would always stick with me. Like I would keep watching that a few times. The scene at the end where the dad and the kid, it was just very emotional.
Izzy,
It
you
was
never
very-
had an illegal cable box with a pay-per-view that would show one movie all day and you would just camp out? I must have seen Basketball like 17 times.
I plead the fifth. I plead the
No,
fifth.
no.
You never had the
Didn't-
illegal DirecTV card? Come on, man. You
No, it's the only thing my parents actually paid for was cable, and so we had legit. I would watch some like porn cable through like the wavy lines. Sometimes.
Wavy lines. Oh, yeah, brother.
Something there.
What would happen at 10
Squint your
o'clock?
eyes
Who
and
knows? Why does it know to change at 10 o'clock? I'm just over here trying to watch WCW Road Wild.
Right?
When I think of like late night, like HBO Max porn, I think of me and my brother with my
Wait,
dad.
stop.
Okay, we'll stop that.
No, hold on.
It's probably not something you want to think
Let my boy
about. You and your
cook.
I'll let you
brother.
know if I
Yeah.
also think
Let
of
my
you and
boy
your brother.
cook.
Me and my brother late at night, seeing my dad sleeping on the couch in the living room. So we go out into the living room. We
Family
put,
porn is destroying this country.
and then we put like the late night Max thing on, and then we walk out of the room and walk back in and be like, "Dad, what are you doing?" And my dad's
It's
like
a great
waking
joke.
up from a slumber, like, "What?
Great
I
joke.
didn't want that. What are you talking about?"
See, let my boy cook,
Thank
dude.
you. Me and my brother. Porn story.
I'm glad you finished that one.
Billy, how much porn did you watch?
And then they all just sat down and finished watching.
Yeah.
It's family.
As a family.
As a family, this is
Roy, by the way, was
great
right
story.
about the bad guy from Die Hard 2 being in
Not a
Rocket
doubt.
Man. Yeah.
Never doubted it for
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah, because I
William
pay attention.
Sadler, exactly right name.
Tell me more about
Wild
family porn
Bill
ruining this
Overbeck.
country, Mike.
Family porn is ruining this country. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah.
You just on a lot of conversations
It's my
about that.
stepmother. Why would I ever?
Is Bo Bridges related
I
to
know
Jeff
the forums
Bridges?
he's on.
Yes.
Nah, different bridges.
Should I have known
They're
this?
just bad actors, though. You know, it's not believable.
This is Lloyd Bridges' sons.
They're related to Lloyd?
Yeah. Yeah.
Starman is a movie that would play over and over and
Jeff
over
Bridges.
in my youth, and I would watch that. That's how I knew of Jeff Bridges.
Now
frankly.
that you
John
say that,
Carpenter.
Stargate, I must have watched 1,000 times when I was a kid.
I don't know any of these.
You don't remember? You never
You don't
seen
know
Stargate?
You don't know Stargate.
Wow.
How about
Russell.
the TV show with MacGyver?
Overboard with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn all day. I can watch that.
That's a good movie.
Bird on a Wire with Goldie
Ooh,
Hawn.
Bird on a Wire. Goldie
that's
Hawn
Mel
had a
Gibson.
minute, didn't
Yeah.
she?
She did.
Yeah.
Bo Bridges has some eyebrows in 2024.
Yeah, he does.
Like, this is crazy. Look at these eyebrows in this interview.
Yeah, Bo Bridges
Massive
will forever
eyebrows.
be Cush's dad.
Mike,
Kushlash.
I'm interested in your perspective on this, Mike, because you're someone that notices these things.
Oh, wow.
Hair?
I just saw his
Sabrina
eyebrows.
Carpenter is indeed wearing a wig.
What?
Yeah. Come on. You don't get that kind of volume these days. Consistently? Come on. Yeah, a uniform hair look through all these shows? It's a wig. Get out of here.
Bill Belichick is dyeing his eyebrows now.
Yeah.
Like, they're way too dark, and I don't know why he felt the need to do this, but like his eyebrows are very clearly
Yeah, I
dyed.
don't think you actually. I guarantee you, he's
Just
not
his
going through the
eyebrows,
issue,
though.
going through the trouble of dyeing them. It's just a little brush. You just kind of put. It's like mascara.
It's his
you just put it on
girlfriend
your.
that's doing
It's,
it.
Yeah,
the,
his
it's
girlfriend's
the young
doing it. Yeah, the
girlfriend.
girlfriend's
She's
doing
trying to
it.
keep it fresh.
They're very dark.
How have you avoided the because you went gray very
allegations?
young?
You can
Well,
come
do
up
you
and-
dye your eyebrows?
No, you can come up and look. I got gray eyebrows. You just they're coming in very slowly.
Eyebrows.
Where's my camera?
Would you, if they were-
if you want to get really close to my eyebrows,
Let me rub
you
those
can.
things. Come here.
If the eyebrows were the same color, would you rock with it, or
I
would you
would
dye
love
it?
to see what it looks like if
Silver
it was silver
eyebrows.
on silver.
I mean,
Yeah.
A little.
eventually,
dye it,
that's what it's
yeah.
going to be, right?
I mean, I think so. I mean, it's coming in like one at a time. Like
To me, you got the best kind of
like
gray hair.
Right there, you see some gray.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't really
But way
see it.
more black than gray. though.
Way more. I don't understand how eyebrows work, but eventually the whiteness is leaking, down my face.
Once you go gray.
Right.
To me, you and Anderson
go
Cooper
straight,
you
kind
stay.
of have the best type of
okay.
gray hair because you guys went gray pretty young, and it's almost as if like, no, I chose this. It looks like you dye your hair
Yeah.
that color.
I get that all the time. There's mostly
Anderson.
women everywhere, usually in supermarkets. They're just like, "Oh, I love your hair. Where do you get it done?" And I was like, "I mean, I know you're not going to.
This is all natural,
Don't
baby.
get it done. It's all that." And they're like, "No, get out of here!" And they're like stare and like touch it, and I'm just like, "All right."
These are random people at supermarkets?
They just touch your hair.
I'm
got
dead
fun
serious.
hair.
Wow.
Remember where Jared Leto came out with the all blonde look in Fight Club?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Right. How you
I remember everything except for
You
that.
don't remember Fight Club?
Dude.
Oh, of course I remember Fight Club.
But Jared Leto-
You don't remember Ed Norton beating the shit out of
Jared Leto.
Jared
A
Leto
bunch of
saying I
people.
felt like destroying something beautiful at
There's
the
a
end?
movie I won't turn off.
That is my favorite movie.
Fight Club.
Yeah, that is number one, my favorite movie of all time, Fight Club.
Rest in peace, Meatloaf.
Wow.
Yeah, David Fincher, I think, is a genius.
Oh, yeah.
That movie never gets old. It was, I mean, this and The Sixth Sense were really like real shock twist endings.
Did you find 7 to be scary?
Seven is a great film.
But
And
what's in
I
the
think
box?
Seven gets
suspenseful,
scarier.
though.
I never got scared of
less
Seven when I was
suspense, more suspense.
smaller. And then as I get older, I guess I caught on things a little bit more. It's like when you watch Billy Madison as a 30-plus-year-old, you realize, oh shit,
Super scary.
this movie's actually super funny. I just didn't get all these jokes. But I guess I didn't. Like there's that scene with like the vest and the custom contraption that he built.
Yeah.
That was kind of lost on me when I was a little kid. And I'm older. I'm like, Jesus, this is horrific.
You know what? I never thought about that movie in my top whatever, but it absolutely is. Like, it had everything, that movie, and including the surprise ending, but every element of it I thought was just riveting.
I think
It's just the storytelling as well.
And the
think it's
religious themes in it as
I
well?
think it's kind of gotten a little creepier now too. Now
Because
that
of-
everything happened with Kevin Spacey, because he was super believable in that role
Let's talk about
before. But Kevin Spacey, no, this is actually like a real life creep.
Yeah.
This is a real life sinister person that is playing this evildoer. So generally, when people get canceled like that, I don't really program myself like that. It's just basically, do I still want to watch this? Do I still want to consume this? Do I still want to listen to this person's music? I'll go back to Seven, and I think kind of in a very twisted way, kind of makes it even creepier because of his association with.
Yeah, I'm more, if you're an actor, you're playing somebody else. I feel like if you're kind of a creep, you've probably been doing that your whole life, is, acting, right, and lying. And so you're just putting on for me, and I'm like, that's fine, I'll deal with it. If it's singing, I don't know why I hear it different, because I can't get that voice out of my head. Like, your voice is everything about this whole entertainment portion of my life, these 4 minutes, and I just can't get it out of my head. But for some reason, acting, because you're faking, I'm okay with it.
But they're faking too on music. Drake is faking his way through music. Like
I stopped
all these
listening to
people,
him.
but all these people like Diddy, like that's a persona that he grew to grow into, and
Right, and it's more him. It's more who he actually is. I don't really think it's a persona, but it's the one that he wants to put across. It's how he wants to be projected. It's acting, but it's just for sinister reasons, right?
Yeah, I don't judge anybody that separates art from artists. Like, do what you want. Like, as long as you're not doing those things, like, go for it. If you
I don't
wanna,
have a hard and firm stance. I just kind of let the feeling happen. Like, whatever I
Precisely.
feel like is
Have
what
you
I'm
quit
going to.
Drake?
I haven't quit Drake. I just listen to him less. Okay.
Because of what happened?
Yeah,
No,
wow,
I
it's
think it's a
crazy. It's
subconscious
crazy.
thing,
His
yeah.
L that he caught was so big that we're comparing his sins to everybody else.
I mean, it's not even
Although
close.
there
but-
are allegations in the most recent
There's
battle
just-
track.
there's
I thought of you
one
as a
line.
Drake fan
Minor.
before, no?
Yeah, no, I was definitely a Drake fan, but there's just one line from one of Kendrick's song where he says, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he acts tough. And when you listen to the old stuff, and you're just like, yeah, it takes away from any of the meaning to it. So if he wants to, sing me a melody, if I want to dance to this song, that's fine. I'll listen to it. But the other stuff where he's like trying to be hard, I'm like, ugh, it just takes away from it.
I think that's all that Drake has actually lost in this battle which is really a social construct, because when it comes down to dollar and cents, he's still the most streamed artist. He's not really
More than T Sizzle?
Yeah, he's the most decorated. Him and Rihanna, I think, have the most number ones. His streaming numbers haven't really gone down. Haven't felt the impact of this. Kendrick's streaming numbers have gone up. I think that actually speaks to Drake. Drake could actually like fire back a pretty good insult in that, like, you became transcendent when you invoked me.
Right. No, it's all because of him. Like, it wouldn't be as big a beef if it wasn't for him. What do we think about J. Cole basically laying out and saying, this
It
is
was the right
why
thing to
I
do.
did what I did. I would have lost it, bro. I would have had this blood on me. Didn't want to do it. Didn't want to play the streaming numbers game. I'm like, I think we all knew that. I think we all knew that he was a fantastic rapper. I just think we wanted him to take part. And it's okay if you didn't want to.
Then he's got to
but-
choose a side, is he? Right? Like, he doesn't want to choose a side.
So he
That was
chose
the
his
whole
own
point.
side.
Exactly.
You could make the argument that now, instead of being part of history, you're a footnote on it.
Right.
But his
What, did I just make a bar? Guys, I think I made a bar.
his discography kind of speaks on its own. Like, he's almost in a separate lane than mainstream rappers, right? Even though he is mainstream, his stuff is more for his fans, almost. Like, he's doing it for his fans more so than other people are doing it, so everybody can listen, right? Like, everybody listens to Drake.
It's weird, Tony, because he became, I think if out of those three, I would have accused Kendrick of being the most self-indulgent.
Right.
Sure.
With his concept
J. Cole has
albums,
become
and not really caring so much about mass appeal. Like, critics catch up to me. Commercialism catches up to me.
Well, he says in this song, he basically breaks it down. He's like, this is why we do it. We do it for some money. We do it to get our fame up. We do it to get people to feel a certain something every once in a while. And I get all that. And sometimes what I want to feel is, hey, those guys are fighting and I want to watch.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. Like, that's part of the whole hip-hop.
We're all
game.
Tyler Hero, distracted by a fight in the sands.
Exactly.
Another bar.
Yeah, we're all Tyler Heroes.
Wow, look at me. Am I a rapper? Might be a rapper.
That fight was intense, actually.
Yeah,
Did you see it? I didn't
I
actually
saw
see
it.
this.
It went on for a while.
Yeah,
Bald guy almost got involved.
Yep.
Like, is anyone going to do something about this?
Right.
It was me at Cal watching
all
the
the bald
bottles
guy?
thrown
Oh,
at
really?
us.
Is
He
this a
almost got in
10-year
that?
beef from the 2014 finals between the Spurs and the Heat? What was that?
That was very strange. What is Jimmy's problem with CP3? Well, outside of the problems everybody has with CP3.
We'll be right back.
Can I start this segment and kick it over to you?
Sure.
Great.
Start on Mike, Ryan.
You weren't thrilled about that.
I'm trying to work out in my brain how you throw it to me. So
I'm gonna throw it to you in
You're a
ways that
Something tells me it's not going to be in the nicest way.
No, it is.
Put the town on alert.
Let's keep that part in. Let's keep that interaction in because I'm here. Not just because I have the time, but I'm here to make you look better.
The time.
I'm gonna. Are you a rapper? That's a bar. I'm here to talk more and take some of the heat off of you, Mike, because you've become so controversial.
I mean, that's everybody else's problem.
You're a lightning rod.
I guess.
It's like the third
I
most
think-
controversial mic in this office.
Can I tell you something? I think that Mike
Maui.
Fuentes likes being hated.
Yeah.
Like, he likes being controversial and he likes pretending like he doesn't care. Like, oh, that's everyone else's deal, not mine. I'm just going to be Mike Fuentes.
I can't really affect
good
their
point.
feelings.
Yep.
Like at this point, it's you either like me
My man.
because you like how I say, or no matter what I do, I can literally pay your rent and say and make you laugh
wow.
your ass off, and you're
guy's a
still
bum.
not like me.
Paid like that?
Like I'm just saying I could, and they won't like me.
I'm not going to change for
Thank
anyone.
you.
I'm just
I like-
gonna be
I
true to
really
myself.
care more about
Mike
everybody
Fuentes.
sitting in this room than I do anybody
I
outside
appreciate
of
you.
this place. Because it's like I have to work with you guys every day. I have to see you every day.
Welcome
so.
to Sponsored by the Haters.
That's why I wear
Thank
different
you.
rooms.
You know what else?
Oh, no, those guys.
You know what else is sponsored?
What's that?
You betcha! Which is presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. So I don't really like the NFL slate this week.
How dare you?
Whoa,
How
it's a
dare-
good
we got
NFL
monsters.
slate.
No,
We got
I mean,
This is by far the best
Lions,
NFL slate.
Vikings?
I mean, in terms of like betting.
Oh,
Tips
really
to
like
sport might be back this week. Come on, we got a Super Bowl
Super
rematch.
unlikable Mike Fuentes.
You guys like the slate? I don't.
Killer games.
So I had Taylor put together college football one.
So
for
hold on,
everyone.
you won't let him be on the show.
I didn't say that.
You're making
I
Taylor
never
work
said
for
that.
you?
I asked him. He did me a favor.
Can Taylor take my place?
If you
Oh, you got somewhere to go?
Can you volunteer as tribute?
I'm gonna do an unpopular opinion thing, and the first one specifically for you. So I need you to stay for at least another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna do
Texans, Packers,
Georgia +4 at Texas is the first part.
Lions, Vikings.
USC money line at Maryland.
That's just 1 o'clock.
And then California money line hosting NC State. It's +238 at the time of recording, and that one is you
betcha.
I like that one. I like that one.
I didn't know you were done.
I'm gonna go down swinging, thinking Cal's good. I don't.
You
they
die on that hill.
They might be undefeated if their kicker was any good. It is crazy. They totally shut down that Pitt offense. I like that slate right there. That's solid.
a good
USC
investment,
hasn't
Taylor.
won a game. They're traveling to Maryland.
Yeah, they're at Maryland.
All right. Well, they haven't won a game going to the East Coast since 2012, but good for you.
It's a long flight.
That's okay. Blame it on
Mike just
Taylor.
knows these things.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
so
me.
kicked around the internet a little bit. Found some unpopular opinions on Reddit.
Mike Fuentes.
Yeah. Me. Yeah,
That's just one of them.
Yeah,
Like-
no, it's an unpopular person.
Just you.
But the first one, unpopular opinion: you can't find new music because you're lazy.
That I think that's accurate, especially if you subscribe to like Spotify and Apple Music. They curate brand new releases for you.
Yeah, but I don't like those.
Yeah, but what
like.
is
I don't like
laziness,
the ones
right?
that they
In order
gave
to
me.
like a song, if you like it right away, that's a rarity. Like if you turn on a song and it's just hear it for the first time, it's like, wow, this is a banger. Maybe like 1% of the songs you listen to. Other songs you like, you got to give them a chance, right? And so if you hear new music, unless you hear it multiple times, you're not going to really fall in love with it, I don't think. So the laziness to me is like, I heard like, a minute of this song, I'm moving on to the next one. You never give it a chance.
But I think most people, what happens is when they open up their Spotify or Apple Music, they go straight to their playlist and they don't really deviate from them. So then they'll be like,
every once in a while.
But
I hit the
that's
new music.
Smart
but a lot of
Shuffle
people
feature on
don't
there.
do that. But dude, the Spotify Smart Shuffle, not great.
My new
Not
music
great.
radar is like songs from Brazil and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
You got-
and I don't know how to fix it.
Well, you're
So I'm up on what's hot in Brazil. But
you follow Mr. Worldwide and then seizes on that algo.
Maybe.
You do have to work for it. When I was really active in the music festival game, that's when I was my sharpest with new music because I would challenge myself. Who's this person on the bill? Let's see if they're worth going and viewing their set. How do I find that out? By digging through their catalog. But I've got a lot of IG follows and stuff like that and people that I trust with their taste. And one of them, I recently ran into a musician that off the jump fell in love with. And Cynthia and I sent her the album, which I often don't do. We have similar tastes anyways, but I very rarely pull you gotta listen to this album. She's like, this is a brilliant album description. On Apple Music, it says, genre surfing bedroom pop that's lo-fi yet bright, intimate yet expansive. That's the entire album description.
Sounds like a wine.
It does, doesn't it? And those people are just making shit up at
Yes,
this point.
they are.
You got to hit all the key words.
Yeah, tannins.
Yeah.
So the artist is, I actually don't know how to pronounce his name because I just know him as Print. It's, I think it's McG. It's mk.gee. And the sound, I've read up on this guy. Eric Clapton said that nobody plays a guitar like this person. That's high praise from Eric Clapton, one of the greatest guitar players ever. And I listened to him, and he's right. I haven't really heard a sound like this come from a guitar. And this dude, his voice kind of sounds a little bit like Justin Bieber. It kind of is like Steve Lacy meets Justin Bieber. And this artist actually did some work with Justin Bieber, which is wild considering how not commercial this sound is. It's very unique, and I would give it
I'll give
really
it a
high
listen, mostly
praise.
because that used to be my way of figuring out new music. I would text Mike and be like, "Hey, what are you listening to these days?" There's a couple of times where he'd come into the office playing something, and I was like, "I like that. Who sings that song?" So normally I would definitely be okay with that. But I have an unpopular opinion. Speaking of unpopular opinions, you were talking about the guitar and how talented this person is. My unpopular opinion is I don't like the sound guitars make.
Wow.
Like I listen. It's crazy.
You don't like music?
Dan was listening. This particular instrument. Dan was talking something. Oh, we were talking about the Pablo Torre episode with Prince and how he did my guitar gently weeps and just showed out with everybody else on that stage, and that was his big moment. I was listening to that and I was like, that sounds like it's very difficult to do. Not so pleasant on the ears.
Oh.
Didn't really like hearing it, and I'd rather just hear like a piano, a drum, or something else solo. But the guitar, the electric guitar solo, I don't love it. I don't love the
is it
sound.
string instruments or just specific to
No,
guitars?
no.
You don't like a bass?
I'm
I
down
love
with a good
violins.
cello, but an electric
they're very
guitar,
hard to learn
it
how to
does
play.
just sound like a whiny, high-pitched instrument. Like it's just, I don't love it.
Well, then you'll love this guy because his guitar doesn't sound like a guitar.
Fantastic. Does it
But
sound like the drums?
Mick G, huh?
I'm kind of like an old school guy, and I like a good solid guitar solo. I like
That's why
Axemen.
I wasn't. I mean, maybe that's why I wasn't so obsessed with Prince. Growing up, everybody else was. I was just like, okay, I like a few of his songs, but I didn't realize he was that level of musician because
Prince
the
would
guitar
be
didn't
so
do it. for me.
catchy with his guitar riffs. Like he knew what would make him money. If he wanted to throw down at a live show, he would. And if you were impressed by that stuff, and he had a general understanding of how difficult it was to do some of that stuff, he'd try to impress you. But it's not like he had like most of his hit songs are synthy. It's pop music. It's
Right.
the guitar. He has some solos here or there, but they
Which is
aren't
who I thought he was.
guitar-driven songs. Roy, am I wrong there?
Yeah, it's like
Raspberry
funk jazz.
Beret isn't
No,
isn't
no.
this
Shredding.
killer shredding
But
But it's
song.
so much
No.
part of if you talk to Prince fans, like Prince stans, that's what they talk about. They talk about his ability to play guitar as much as anything else, as much as a music writer. And so maybe if I appreciated that instrument more, I'd be like, hey, that guy's really good at it. But I didn't, and I just don't like the sound it makes.
Back in my day, you know how you found new music? On the old school radio. DJ Laz. Here comes the new joint from Sierra.
Jay Lass.
Here's Sierra's new joint.
That
Check it
Chico's a
out.
pimp.
Want another popular opinion? The kindest way to end a friendship is through ghosting.
Ghosting.
Grossing.
What's grossing?
Ghosting.
Oh, okay.
End of friendship.
Patrick's
That's
racist.
something that like doesn't really happen. very
Roasting
often.
sounds fun.
The
though.
kindest way to end a friendship is through ghosting.
I mean, that is how
You just kind of lose touch.
Yeah.
Is it on purpose, or do you just kind of drift away?
No, I'm
because like I
guessing
don't remember having a friend that'd be like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, and then just not paying attention to them.
Do you guys have any friends that you have contentious relationships with because you've fallen apart? So like anytime you talk to this person, they're like, "Oh, we haven't hung out in so long," but you like feel this like.
That's my dad. That's my dad. He always complains about how long it's gone since I last spoke to him. We spent a good 15 minutes on that.
I have one friendship that our entire interaction at this point, we went to high school together, and our interactions at this point is just, hey man, phone works both ways.
Really?
Like,
So
it's just
you're
a text, like-
jackasses
He's
to
not
each
voting
other.
for the person that you're going to vote for.
I like. Well, that's part of it too. I
That's
like
part of it.
long term.
Where did that come from?
I like long-term friendships because it's a lot like marriage in that it requires work.
Yeah.
Like if I met somebody in my mid-20s, it's happened plenty that did something that landed the wrong way with me. It was a lot easier to let go of that. But longer-term friends, you don't see the world the same place.
Yeah.
You've maybe pivoted and your opinions have evolved at a different rate than the other person's.
Do you
and
hold up to
find
the
a way-
same standards as you would a spouse in that scenario, or do you let some stuff go?
I don't, because ultimately, like, I'm not sleeping with my friend. I'm not laying down next
That's
to
good
my
to
friend.
know.
I'm
Hell
not
yeah,
building
brother.
a family with my friend. I do have a choice in the matter, but I do like a long-term friendship. Most of my long-term friends, I definitely, ideologically, politically, we are not aligned. They kind of stayed in one place that they were when they were teenagers, and I kind of did different things. But I like that I come back to it. It's humbling. It reminds me of who I was, why I made the decisions that I made to change. Makes me kind of feel better about the decisions that I've made, but also it humbles me in ways that I'm like, okay, I'm often accused of living in an echo chamber. If anyone knows anything about my upbringing, the town that I live in, how active I am on X, like I do not. I don't have a lot of people. This studio is basically the only place in Miami that I can speak to people face to face and have a like-minded conversation generally.
You notice the more friends, the more people, the person that has the most friends really just doesn't talk about that stuff, really doesn't get into any of that stuff. It's just very surface level, and it's just, hey, these are, and you realize, you sort of dig into the relationships, and it's just like, you guys aren't friends. You just kind of hang out. And maybe
I've known you for
search
so long that I
Mike's-
feel like I have to keep up the relationship.
Mike is right. It's good to have friends that you know you're better than.
Yes. That's ultimately the point.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Where
I
it's
surround
like,
myself
I'm-
with basically, if you're my friend, that's all you're there for.
Yeah.
A lot of my core group of like high school friends have, like as Mike said, they just basically stayed the same. Like they're still in high school.
How about
basically.
us? We've all evolved. Our friends.
Not so much.
No,
We're so much better than them.
I'm glad you called me out on that because that's not the way that I meant it.
No, I'm actually
but-
agreeing with you though.
Yeah, it's not the way that I meant it, but look, I'm a pompous ass sometimes, and that's how it comes off, and that's why some people made the decision. You know what? Like maybe you're not so great to be friends with long term.
I think people make that decision about me. I feel like I am well liked, but not well liked enough to spend like hours at a time with. Like there's times where I'm just like looking at Anthony and I was like, do we have any friends? Because there's maybe one person we can call at the drop of a hat and be like, yes, we're definitely doing something. Outside of that,
You've got your hockey friends, Izzy. That group chat is really genuinely supportive.
Yeah, mostly Ethan, but it's definitely supportive.
Izzy's in the hockey chat?
Yeah, I've been
Izzy
in it
is
for
in
a
the
couple
hockey
What do you
years
think about
now.
Bob with shoes in?
That is unbelievable.
Bob, good friend of mine, Bob.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting
It's
here.
such a who's who's chat that Izzy's like fifth most famous in there or
I'm
something.
not even
Really?
close.
Ethan's
John
number
is in
one.
there.
Well, who's in there? Yeah.
It's like 70 messages from Ethan.
Should I respond?
Oh, you're in it too?
Yeah.
Ethan's very active in it, but Ethan's kind of polar.
He's getting a bad rap. We love him.
he does, but
He keeps it alive.
Ethan's
Is
a
he-
good kid.
is he listening?
He's a
He's a
left
great
already.
kid.
No, there's no way he left.
does he listen
he
to
left
Mystery
already.
I saw him with a
No, he's
backpack.
got a job to do.
Feel free
Does he
to
listen
be
to
honest
Mystery
now.
Does he
I
listen?
assume so.
Well, does it? Because I would
It's
like to
not part
talk
of
to
his
him.
job, so no.
I would like to talk about him behind his
Yeah,
back.
go ahead.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's what. So let's just agree. No one tells Ethan about this.
Right.
Okay.
Occasionally, I like to. My legacy as a friend is I brought people together.
Yes.
And I kind of force the issue, and I like.
Unless you have an Android.
Yeah, sorry, Roy. You did this to yourself. And
I did it myself.
You know the consequences.
I'd never had an Apple phone, so
You got to change with the times. We were just talking about
how
that.
dare no.
Putting Ethan in all of your group chats was probably the mistake.
Yeah. Well, he's not in all of them. He's not in all of them.
Okay.
No, there are certain ones that I'm like, I can't. He's a volume shooter.
Yeah.
So occasionally, like people will reach out and be like, "Hey, Ethan has a lot of opinions."
Yeah.
Why is Ethan in this
It's
one
often
again?
the first thing people say when we like meet up at a Panthers game, and it's like, Ethan, huh?
Yeah. Why'd you add Ethan? My response to that is, I actually think that's a good.
He's a good kid.
That's
He's
a good
buzzing.
tension to have in
Yeah.
a group chat. You
Yes.
have people that are a little bit more active. I like having a bunch of people that feel like you can have people that just kind of go with it or a little bit more silent in there. But you have a couple lightning rods.
Right.
I'll tell you,
It's
you've
good.
got
It
these
keeps it
rules.
fresh.
You know,
and
Mike
they-
Fuentes.
But there's just nothing he won't comment on.
I love it.
Like I think yesterday,
That's in
who
real
was
life
it?
too, though.
Yesterday, like there was just some comment made. It was like some hockey move. He's just like huge.
Special.
Like he just like he'll like
That's a one-word answer.
I love that.
I like it.
I
It's a
love
one-word
that.
answer.
I
like
wanna
it.
look back at
I
like,
genuinely
what it
pull
was, though.
everybody. I'm like, I hear
It wasn't
you, but-
huge though. Whatever was said, he's like huge.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be huge. The fact that he said something, it was like,
Makes it huge.
I sit people down. I'm like, I'm fascinated by this dynamic. I'm like, but that's kind of like why he's in there
Ultimate
because he
hype
makes
man.
you feel a certain
he's a
Ultimate
way.
spark
hype man
plug.
for
He's
the
a
chat.
spark plug, is what he
Do you
is.
remember that little video of these two kids, and one of them's
man.
doing their homework, and the kid's getting it right, and the other one's like, "Yeah, yeah."
I
That's
love
exactly
it.
who Ethan
he's
is.
all
He's a
he's
little
all
buddy.
in. Like you invite him to the hockey chat, he's all in, and I like that
I
about
get
the
scared
kid.
sometimes
All or
because you've got
nothing.
these rules, Mike, that if you like, there's so many rules, but if you repeat something in a group chat, like you have to chug something, and that's where I get afraid because when Ethan is blowing hot, it's just like I'm going to take a little vacation from this chat, and then when I'm ready to say something, I'm like, oh shit, has that been covered? Am I going to have to get drunk because of this? And then I just stop, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to confidently say, trust that it was covered, and just move on.
I'd straight
Shot
up
of
have
Jaeger.
liver disease if I lived on the West Coast. Straight up. Because living 3 hours behind, I amassed like 7 chugs. It was just a terrible thing. And that's what, like, I think akin to you unplugging from Ethan text. You're on like basically a 3-hour delay.
Yeah.
But you have to have rules.
Yeah.
It just helps the general like camaraderie of the group chat. And that group chat in particular is very tightly knit. We all genuinely love Puck. That's the one that has the most field trips associated with it.
True.
We have field trips.
I feel like Billy's jealous now, and he wants in because he heard that.
No,
Fuentes
I'm in
was
the
He's in the baseball
one.
one.
It's a lot.
That's good enough?
It's a lot. Yeah.
and that
But-
one's not a lot.
I also
who's the
don't
Ethan of that
like.
chat?
I don't have the majority of the
Ethan.
numbers saved, so I just see like a lot of numbers, and I'm like, I don't know who any of these people
Yeah,
are.
that's a
That's why like
lifelong
I don't
endeavor.
participate because like I don't know who I'm talking to
Yeah.
in a lot of
There
instances.
was a
don't
point
know who
where I
anyone
thought
is.
I had John Isner wrong, and I was making tennis references to some other person because nobody was responding. But then I was right; it was just a slow time.
So John Isner is in the hockey.
in the
chat.
hockey chat.
John
wow.
Isner's
It's like,
in the
oh,
hockey
good
chat.
joke. 786.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Is he above the?
Oh, he's really tall. So
He's not above Ethan.
He's
though.
above a lot.
Where
of
is he
people.
in terms of the famous people? Isner.
Well, it's Bob. It's Wischusen.
He's number one.
top of the mountain.
Yeah.
When you're a voice of the sport.
Yeah.
Come on.
Adnan Verks in the hockey
International
chat.
fan.
Adnan
though?
comes in and out.
Wait, hold on. Because
Adnan's in-
wait, hold on. I don't want to
man.
betray any trust, but like, would you consider Kyle Seeloff top in the baseball chat?
In the baseball.
He's a voice
chat?
in the sport.
I mean, you're up there.
I like Kyle. I'm just saying. Would you? He's,
We had a survivor. We have a survivor runner up in there.
Wow. Wow.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mike.
Orestes
Not Sampson.
Destrades' nephew.
Big O.
Yeah, Albert Destrade.
Can't
Oh,
find,
I would destroy. Oh.
I can't find the huge text from Ethan. I'm trying to.
Oh,
really
trust me,
find
they're in there. Yeah.
it. What was huge?
The other day I was in here. This is mean. There's no need for sharing this, but I'll share it anyways.
Thank
the
you.
other day we were in here, and like Lucy was here. So like after the storms, like the hurricane that went through like North Carolina. So like we were talking about like North Carolina. She's like, yeah, you know, this town. Like telling me about like North Carolina. I don't know about like rural North Carolina, right? Ethan like walks in, he's doing things like, I've been to North Carolina, and then he just starts like telling all these things like, where's this town in relation to that? And he's just telling all of like these North Carolina
Wow.
facts, and
Special.
it's like, we're like, okay, he's
the best.
Come on, man.
Huge.
So
Durham special.
there's a hurricane. It just went through her town.
That's great.
People were devastated. I don't need all your North Carolina facts right now.
I just found the huge from
Dude.
Ethan yesterday. It's Mike yesterday in
Which
the
Mike?
the F Firmo. This is not even the hockey chat.
different
That's a
chat.
central like
This is
catch-all.
just
General
the catch-all chat.
General catch-all.
Mike to someone specifically goes, Peter, Always Sunny, season 17 started shooting today. And then Ethan responds, huge. Like what? Like
It's huge.
I want to hear
Another
Mike
season
Ryan.
of Always
I need to hear Mike Ryan's limited fake Ethan again. What he just
It was
did.
good.
Special.
Wow.
Wow, special. I love it. I love the kid. I love the kid.
he's
Like,
great.
He's just gonna like this is a tough love aspect.
you
We're
can't
all-
have a chat full of Ethans, but you need one or two
Yeah.
Ethans
You
in your
need
chat.
you need people like I have another friend of mine. I hope he's not listening to it. God, this is just me talking behind people's back. I have another friend of mine.
Welcome to
that's in
Mystery Crate, Mike, as you said.
Well, I've noticed this because when I sit back and watch Mystery Crate, I'm like, they're just talking shit about
If
me.
you notice, we just cut it up, man. No one's off limits. We
I
just
have
talk.
another friend of mine, Fonzie, that people feel like passionately about, and it's like I get it. Like I kind of bump heads with them too. Ethan's got a little bit. Fuentes, this is what's happening with you some, and certainly it's happened with me over my career. Is we have an opinion about everything. Like we come across as know-it-alls, and people generally like in bunches gather against that.
If there's anything Fuentes is, it's sorry Fuentes, but
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm knowledgeable. Like I'm sorry. I know things. Let me go back and be dumber.
yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
There's times
Your stuff's not always right.
There's
right?
times.
Bullshit.
There's times where you say
Bullshit.
things.
Yeah.
People don't like
Huge.
Like I'm in the room right
Special.
Special.
Or I will say that I show some. I have very little evidence because I'm one of the more active members in these chats, but I do. Like I start texting, I'm like, no one needs to hear that. Because I'm worried about like how people find
Something
other people
Ethan's
in the chat.
never done. Right there. What you just
Restraint.
did.
Yeah.
I do show some restraint.
You know how we say that availability is the best ability?
Yeah.
That one thing about Ethan, always ready.
Always ready,
available,
dude.
always ready.
You have
He's
to keep
always
in
down
mind,
for
he
whatever.
lives far away, went to school somewhere else. Like he doesn't like this is a whole new friend group. I haven't added him to the highlight
He's
chat
single-
yet, but he's like down. He's DTJ. He's
okay.
His Twitter bio already references the position we gave him.
Donald
Yeah.
That DJT.
Let me tell you, that Ethan single-handedly can raise Uber stock as much as he's traveling from Hollywood down to
He's
the
also
Brightside.
keeping Brightside open.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that guy is always Ubering to Brightside, always down to hang
But
out.
I've talked to him about like why you is like I don't have a lot of friends like down here. It's actually kind of cute. Like this is a place. This is my community. This is a communal. I'm friends with the servers. It's like Cheers where everybody knows your name. Everybody certainly knows him. He's a real good kid, real good heart, and he's all in. I like that he's.
I
all
love
in about
Ethan.
stuff.
I want that said.
I heard he was being a bit of a gatekeeper on the Panthers run last year, and he was not allowing certain people to go to Brightside.
Wow.
Like he was telling people, no, we lost that game when you were there. You're not allowed to come back.
Oh,
and
it
he
was
was
really?
actively
It was Thomas complaining.
getting away and stopping people from going.
Somebody
and
has
being
to put
participated.
That was
Yeah.
kind of different though because there was a limited capacity, so you did
you
have to
like,
be judicious.
Like, you need like a reservation.
I was actually fine with
buy a
Ethan
code.
pulling rank. Better you than me.
Ethan
You
was
be the
literally
bad
like,
guy.
"Hey, I can put you on my list." Like he has his own list at Brightside.
we had reserved bar stools.
section.
My name was on a bar stool, so was Ethan. So
Okay.
unpopular, a new one.
I'm not gonna lie, that definitely felt like a very special occasion when I popped into the
Special.
bar and you guys had names on the back of
Yeah.
the stools. I was like,
Were you there the
this-
one game? Like it was game 6. We lost. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
no,
went
I was
to
there.
11.
The devastating one. Yeah,
I
went to-
celebrate.
You
we went to
celebrated
11.
the loss.
Distraught after.
Kulikov's thinking we
Not as
lost
distraught
everything.
not as distraught as I was.
But you and Fuentes throwing ass at 11.
Yep.
Someone's got to hold it down.
Kulikov, by the way, tell him he can't wear shorts in any more interviews.
Ooh, hey
Very
now.
distracting.
Hey now.
Dude, his legs,
Oh wow. Okay.
absolute unit. Seeing those guys celebrate at 11, you're like, wow, how does his frame sustain a check?
Yeah.
Lucerinen, I'm like, wow, dude,
Saw
how
Carter
does your
Verhaeghe
body
out.
hold up? And then I see Kulikov, I'm like, how do you get hit by Kulikov and survive?
Lusterranen was my favorite to watch at 11. That's all I'm gonna say.
Swaggy is another guy. He's like, how do you
So
don't have
thin.
how do you have this frame that holds up in such a physical sport? It's crazy what those guys do. That's why we love puck.
It is wild
Wish I was there.
how little defense Carter Verhaeghe plays.
It's
That's
kind
not his specialty.
I know, but it's just like
it's not like
the
Sam
pan-
Reinhart.
watch the-
older Carter Verhaeghe too. He was forced to do that stuff because he was on checking lines. Like
Yeah.
Verhaeghe in earlier video games would have like fist
Really?
next to his name.
Hang on
Like
a
in
second.
the most recent
That's what
NHL
Tampa
video
did? What did
you
game,
guys
I
catch?
got
Tampa
in
did
a
that,
fight
though.
with Verhaeghe. I'm like, what is this?
There's no way Tony finds Hockey Talk.
No,
this
Tony
entertaining.
and
What the
Billy
hell
are just
happened?
having a time.
We're
So I
doing
want to
our
know what's
thing
it
over
about.
here.
No, share with the group.
No, so
happened?
you're talking about somebody
Carter
not playing
Verhaeghe.
defense, whatever, and Billy's like wild.
special,
Like Ethan would be
huge,
right, right,
special,
right.
huge.
It's wild. It's wild.
That's Minnesota.
For the next 3 days, we're going to be coming here just dropping Ethanisms. He's going to have no idea. He's just going to be smiling at us and repeating what we're saying.
He's skyrocketing in my book after this episode.
I mean,
Special
he's-
kid.
He's
Huge.
going to
Huge.
be skyrocketing
Huge.
in our fans.
Special. Special kid.
We spent
Special
this whole
kid.
episode
Huge
about
kid.
him.
Yeah.
Okay, one more unpopular opinion.
Okay.
Punctuality is an unnecessary stress.
I love that opinion. And
I
here's why.
get there when I get there.
Somebody,
yeah,
I saw
brother.
I
Hell
saw
yeah,
a text
brother.
that said I'll be there at 3:23, and the response was, "Well, that's a very specific time." And the response to that was, "Well, if you think about it, so is 3 o'clock. It's exactly a very specific time.
Yeah.
So why not just say you're going to be there at 3:23?"
Who said that to you?
It wasn't. It was a very popular meme. I'm sure. Or
Oh, well, I would like to be friends with that meme. Time is a social construct.
Yeah.
You have to adhere to quarters and tens and fives. No,
Unless it's
I'll be
your
there
wedding.
at 7:07. When can I expect you? 7:07. That's when I'll be there. What time do you have your alarm set to? Me? I have mine at 6:23 a.m. That's
You wake
why.
up at
Because that's
6:23?
right.
Mine's at
What
6.
does 12 in front of the hour even mean? Is it after the hour? Is it before the hour? Is it in front because it happens time-wise before? Or is
Quarter
it in
till.
front? Is it quarter till? Because I thought
Dozen
it was
till. You never hit somebody with a dozen till?
well until, but
No, his name is Darren Till. It's a different guy.
We have a whole bunch of people who've worked in radio, which is regimented with its time.
I just don't understand why I have to round up for your convenience. I never got it.
I'll be there at 3:07.
This reminds me of the Dolphins starting every meeting this year on 24 on the hour.
How did that work out?
Just because they've been 24 years out of the playoffs.
25.
doing
Now
wonders.
they should start 25 now.
For some reason, they got Joe Biden explaining it to them.
Did I turn
24.
into-
You turned it to Joe Biden half the time.
Look at this. Look at this. Hear me. With your mouth.
He's special.
tell you, Ethan,
Huge.
he's huge.
This is like Joe Biden's 5th consecutive appearance on Mystery Crate.
Not to be outdone, Ethan's special kid.
Special kid.
He's not going to be with us as president for much longer. So we have to ride that train.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter kept his word.
Yes,
Unbelievable.
he
Tough
voted.
as nails.
There's
He
no way
voted.
that guy's alive, right?
He is.
No.
He's got- he's
No,
still-
I know, but there's no way.
I don't know
Define
what-
alive.
Did you see the picture?
Yeah,
It looked like-
it looked rough, and that was an older picture.
That was not special.
Find me a good-looking 100-year-old.
Wow.
That's a great take.
Yeah.
Find me a good-looking 100-year-old.
Go,
Do
go
it.
to
I dare you.
Go to Sardinia. You'll see 1,000 of them.
Oh,
I
No,
doubt it.
what you want?
because they're eating lemon pasta and
Sardinia?
shit?
They don't
Like,
even
whiskey
believe
all
in
day.
sunblock
Italy,
over
guys, I'm telling
No.
you, people in Italy live to 100 more than
You
at
think
any rate.
that.
No,
You
I know
think
that.
that.
I know that.
there because they look 100 when they turn 60.
No.
I don't trust Italian bookkeeping.
Italian's just full of 100-year-olds, just hot
It
as
is.
balls, just everywhere.
It is
Mad as hell with no
Look
ice.
it up. Look
Right.
it up.
Okay.
You're talking about the Blue Zone thing. I know.
Look it up
I
right
have an
now.
Italian
I'm not gonna
chat.
look at
Japan
It's
has
not
Look it
a
up
big
right
deal.
now.
This guy's 100.
population.
This guy's 100. He looks 100.
I have an Italian chat. Hold on. Let me see.
Japan has the world's oldest population.
Okay, goodbye.